This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to this episode of Back to the Story, where friends come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'll be your DM, Klaus. Let's get started.
When you see God's Rust surrounded by armies,
I'm sorry I couldn't buy us more time.
then know that its dissolution has come near.
I mean, I have great faith in the gods. I think that no matter what happens, they're going to triumph over this.
Then let those who are upon the pinnacle flee to the mountains.
And it's not really our place to judge, but to serve.
And let those who are inside the city depart.
I think if you gave me a few days, I could learn enough deep speech to try.
And let not those who are out in the forest enter it.
I'm an archaeologist. Disrespecting the dead is kind of what I do.
For these are the days of vengeance,
I just want to know what the fuck I am.
to fulfill all that is written.
Do not heed the visions of false prophets. Do not become what they want you to become.
Alright, Scales. It's up to you now. You've got this.
I like it. Let's get started and see what happens. This episode of Back to the Story. Here we go. Episode 68, The Trial of Ashen Embers, was last episode. I'm not sure how Alex deals with this. The disc of stone is covered in dark silt and surrounds a hole in its center, a place where she was born. The altars and relics are all destroyed now, with only a few surrounding walls and archways standing silhouettes against the sea of dreams surrounding this star grove. Swords, blades of silver and crimson canvas this place like stars in the sky. They stand ever attentive, impaled into the ground, pinning long dead bodies, only dust and bone now, to the platform. She walks into this place of still air and static screams she can barely hear anymore. Her silver hair bounces with her steps. They stand to greet her, silver blades in hand, forms of night sky and silver stars circling above their heads. So few this time, she whispers, holding her hand to the side. We see the silver harbingers flinch at her sight as she approaches now, a void of crimson star above her. Scars streak across her form like the void tearing. This creature of jagged crimson releases a shrill, electronic voice. The time is nigh. Remembrance of the Harbingers. Previously, as the bronze scales faced the trial of ashen embers, they pushed towards the skeleton of the great Titan serpent. Seeing a patrol of fire salamanders, the bronze scales gave chase through the boneyard, wounding them but not preventing them from retreating into the Titan corpse. After deliberating, the scales pushed inside, Ball and Vlad breaking through the guarded door as the scales slayed the salamanders before climbing down towards a pulsing heart. Entering into a great cavern, the scales saw the Titan's beating heart, 8 chambers beating in the air, floating over a pool of boiling blood. They leapt into action, fighting towards the island surrounded by magma to face the child of Sadal, a massive serpent at least 60 feet long. Burning embers rained from the erupting heart as the few salamanders were slain or cast off the island into the magma below. Ball faced down the serpent, having to fall back before Ellery dealt the final blow of lightning. I think Vlad took Alvomar from Ball, attempting to be the one to break the heart with it. After hitting it twice and needing only one more blow, Felix slowed him from attacking with spell as Ball fought for the hammer. Ball managed to pry Alvomar from Vlad, but faced with Felix's protection and the weight of destiny, he hesitated before smashing the heart to pieces. We come back to the story here. The destruction of the heart brought the chamber and temple built in the Titan corpse to crumble around you. You've all rushed up the stairs, through the hall, and out of the collapsing space, leaving Vlad behind. The dust of ash and ember has begun to settle as you've found a place to rest and a bit of shade from the Titan bones. You're wounded. The sun beats a red ring hanging in the sky, with the eclipse beginning to shrink and the flames just shifting to white hot. What would you like to do?
Who have I already used my healer's kit on? I know Ball. Was there anyone else? I know Ball and Vlad, so I know there was at least two, but
I don't think anyone else.
okay. So I can do that to everyone else then.
Yes,
And
please.
then I will
Thank you.
also do my medic feat if we're going to start rolling hit dice. So,
Did we already get some distance before we started our short rest? Or did we just decide
last time you'll try to find a place that's safe, so you'll have a little distance.
4.
And remind me, how far travel is it to get back to whatever thing we are porting back in?
I think it was a few hours.
It's just like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
So Amsen, it's a 5 plus, it's 9 plus, we're level 11. So 20. 20. Felix, you were wounded too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's max healing, so that's 21 back to you.
Okay.
That's minimum, so I will take that one. That's almost also minimum. Sorry, Ellery. That's 17 back to you. I get 16 back. And then are we rolling hit die?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Are you able to do that medic ability on everybody?
Well, yep. Yes. Okay, everybody can take a full hit die. I can do it up to 6 creatures. So there's 5 of us. So everybody can take a max healing from 1 hit die.
I'm going to use Arcane Recovery to get back a first level spell slot.
And Felix is going to play with his glove and change out a cantrip.
I'm at 69 hit points in episode 69.
Ball's been rolling 6s and 9s. That's all.
And Ellery is back up to 69 as well.
The universe is smiling on us today.
I think as we're
Resting.
yes, as we're settling in, I'm going to go over to Ball. Hey, are you okay?
I think I'm just tired.
Yeah, this has
My
been...
brother needed.
I hope he did. I mean, even if he did try to take the hammer from you, family's fucking complicated.
I think he only did what he thought was best.
That's how it seems to me, too. I'm just gonna sit down next to him.
And are we within view of where the entrance was?
As I understood it, you guys wanted to put a little bit of distance, but you're probably not far.
So in that case, I think where Ball is kind of sitting and patching his wounds, he's within eyesight of the entrance and just kind of, as he sits there, he's just kind of staring at the entrance while he patches himself up.
Hey, Vesper? Are you able to try and contact Vlad?
I can. It's going to be my only high-level spell. Are we confident that I can use that? Or do you want me to keep holding it for a Revivify or something? In case the worst happens?
I mean, I think we're probably okay for now. But We're all kind of tired. I don't know. I look to Ball.
I'm ready for whatever.
Well, I can try if you want me to. And if there's no objections, then yeah, I will use my last 4th level spell slot. And I will cast Sending to Vlad. And just go, are you alive? Are you okay? And wait.
A few moments go by. No response.
I didn't, he didn't say anything. There's no response. I'm sorry.
I think Ball just continues to look at the entrance.
Look, we should probably start getting back soon. We're going to need to start our travels. Figure out where we're going next. I know we want to wait for Vlad, but we can't sit here all night.
Is that what we're doing next? Or are we going back to the giants, back to the material plane?
Well, if we want to stick around here and wait a little bit longer, I have an idea for something that we can do. Maybe it'll provide some answers. Maybe help us make our choice.
I don't see why we can't at least camp here for the night, get some rest. This was a long day.
Fine, we can do that. It's just disgustingly hot, but fine.
If you want to spend the night in the sphere, you can do that.
Does it even get to be night here? Isn't everything on fire? Anyway, if you had an activity planned to help figure out things, I'm certainly not going to not take part, just for some comfort.
Right. So, this is exciting. Melly has helped me with a new spell, and hopefully we'll see how this goes. I've never done it before, so Amsen will prepare to cast Legend Lore.
What does that look like as you cast that spell?
I'm gonna say Amsen probably finds a harder stone or bone or something like that, kind of a flat area that he can lay this all out. And then he'll take these pieces of ivory and kind of place them hesitantly, trying to remember how Melly taught him to do it. And then he'll take out this very expensive, probably not great smelling incense, and put it in a few little piles and start lighting them. And he'll wait.
And what are you asking about?
I will ask about how Tyrus fell, I guess, if I can get that specific.
Okay. You set out the ivory and burn the incense, and the pungent odor of the smoke rolls up from it. And as you speak your words, asking your question, it begins to stir and twist and turn, forming images. Nothing clear, but begins to spin as you hear wind. And the wind begins to shift and form words that you understand. Tyrus, the Titan of conquest, the forebearer, the Maw King, the Titan Lord, fell in his own arrogance against those Driagos during the Song of Stone and Scale. Amsen, make a perception check.
Oh boy, I am not great at those. And I rolled terribly, but I have one last luck, so I'm gonna use that. And hope that I get something good. That is not much better. I got an 8.
underestimate. The smoke forms something, an image. It's hard to tell what is trying to coalesce, and you're trying to figure it out in your mind, but can't quite sort through the pattern of the smoke is making. Tyrus came about during the dawn, created his kingdom, crossed Nor, conquested against the other titans, the primordials, breaking them with his more, and his voice clear doom. He bore children, the Jotun, which conquered all of the globe, reaching heights none would reach before or after. Tyrus was one of the first to build a tower and begin the Age of Towers. The gods lived upon the Nor, built their thrones and their temples and their altars as testaments and monuments to their power. Tyrus sought more, and in seeking that power of ethos and essence, he began a war against the dragons, those scaled creatures led by Zahara. But it wasn't just her and the chromatics. Though Akashon attempted to stay neutral, the chromatics were joined by the metallic dragons, and by a number of Dragash, the heavenly dragons. Tyrus was wounded, losing the war, kingdom crumbling, but slaying dragons. Valasol took this opportunity to send luminants and solars to break him while they stood, wounded, pushing the giants back from the lands of children. It was Yara who ripped the throat from Tyrus, broke his bones and separated him, leaving his skull in the white tomb of Tynea, the winter falling upon those lands. It would not subside. Now we wait for his return, for Tyrus to raise his grave as a foundation to a tower so great it would reach the heavens. He will ascend it to face them and offer them mercy with a sword to their necks. The wind and the voice ceases momentarily as the smoke hangs in the air.
Amsen will kind of sit up a little bit and exhale like he just got told an information bomb, because he did, and be like, oh, all right. It worked. I got some information, and I will regale everyone else with this story of how he fell in arrogance versus the dragons, and then it was mostly Zahara and her dragons, but Akshon helped after a while, as well as Valasol a little bit. It was mostly Zahara, though. And if he comes back, he's definitely not going to be happy.
I'm going to double down on what I said earlier. We really shouldn't be doing this. But I'm sorry, I know this is your destiny, but we just got that omen before we came here about seeking salvation of the Aesara, and that includes Valasol and Akashon. And Valasol is already wounded and has enemies. The last thing we need to do is deliver one of those enemies right to him. If we do that, this is all over. The Will wants Valasol dead. That's their goal once they break down the Divine Gate. We can't...
But aren't there still several steps before this happens? I don't think...
If we succeed in this, though...
Didn't we already? Our part's done. It's too late.
We didn't bring the blood back.
Do we even have any?
I wave at Ball and the glowing symbol on his chest. Blood does not necessarily mean the substance. His blood is awakened. We completed it.
But they still need to forge something.
And they imply that the other tribes of giants are the ones to do it. This is just one small step in bringing him back.
And how do we know the other tribes haven't already?
We don't. But unfortunately, what do you want us to do now? We let Ball do it already.
I mean, Ellery knows ways of getting us back to the material plane. We don't have to go back to the giants.
Ball, I know strong and silent is your thing, but you're kind of important in the opinion of this.
I've been talking with the mic muted, mainly just like thinking out loud, and then you guys would start talking. I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't say anything. I should just keep thinking. Maybe I need a bit of a history lesson or a refresher. What happens if something were to happen to Valasol?
Not least of all, he's Calvin's god.
Ain was my god. Times change.
Well, would you like to ask Calvin if we can kill his god? Because, I'm sure he'll have opinions on that.
Did the will actually say that that was what they wanted? I mean, it makes sense that they wouldn't be happy with the sun, but...
Braun said that that's what they wanted. He said once the gate falls, they'll try and kill the Dawnmaker, and that's Valasol.
And what would that mean if Valasol were to fall?
The mantle would be broken. He's got gates on this side.
Likely the world would be plunged into darkness with the lack of the sun. At least temporarily until another god took up his portfolio.
Maybe Demiri Voss wants to do so. Maybe he wants to become a god. I don't know that far. But
I mean, vampires. Undead. Not big fans of sunlight. I wouldn't be surprised if Demiri Voss wants to become a god, but I doubt he'd be bringing the sun back with him.
But Demiri Voss isn't actually our problem. The Harbingers are. Whatever he's doing is bad, yes, but it is likely just the cause of calamity, not the calamity itself.
And could it be that maybe things are not meant to be the way they are now? Beyond the gates, does some rebalancing necessarily mean the end of the world as we know it? Tyrus has been gone for some time. The giants continue to live. There are many gods beyond the gates. As Felix said, maybe another will take up his portfolio.
I'm not going to make enemies with the gods, though. Not least of all because my power comes from them. We all saw how useless I was when it was gone. I'm against this. That's my vote. But I'm not going back to the giants right now, so you do what you want.
I'm sorry. Where are you going?
I'm going to Smo. Because I'm not leaving here without trying to do something for my mother. I can't. I cannot justify leaving her here. This may be the only time I have a chance to do something about it. So I'm going to. And you all can come with me or not, but I have to do this. And if it means I don't have to help break the mantle and kill Valasol and ruin everything in the cosmos, then even better.
You're not going alone.
We were all for all of this destiny crap just this morning.
I'm not going to let you go off on your own in a place like this, and I'm not going to make you leave your mother behind. More than that, I want to help you. And you can say I'm all for this destiny crap, but I don't know any better than anybody else. I probably know less than everybody else what the right path is. What I do know is that my friend has an opportunity to get her mom back, and I'm not going to let that opportunity pass without at least trying.
All right, fine. Then it's up to Ball if he wants to go back to the Giants or choose something else.
I think, as we have discussed, there are many things out of our hands right now, and these things move slowly. I don't think they will miss us if we're gone for a little bit longer. The least I could do is help you the way you helped me.
We can't split up, certainly not. Vesper, you know I'd follow you anywhere.
Squeak away over a sea of lava. You can't resist the fire for that long.
No, but a few of us can. We have some sort of portable refuge. We can handle it for a few hours at a time or so, cool off a bit, and come back out, and such.
Vesper's very thoughtful for a moment, kind of looking at Ball, and then nods. Then we go to Smo. I wanted to see if we could maybe catch that merchant before they left and get a map. Should have thought of it ahead of time, but...
Wonderful. Great. Just wonderful. We get a message that the Harbingers are awake. And so you decide to go and take care of your mother issues instead of saving the world.
Pretty much. If you'd like to, go back on your own, Felix, you're welcome to.
Forgive me, but isn't the only thing you know about your mother and Smo is that she specifically told you not to do? A responsible grown woman who understands her situation told you not to do this. And like everything else, as soon as someone tells you not to do something, you must.
She just points at him.
Do you understand that your existence might have been the problem that landed her in prison, and by going back, you could make things worse?
It's not. She was in chains long before I was born.
And
they came to her because she broke them.
And you don't think that giving them a weapon against her own daughter, might make things worse?
You've got that ring. I can disguise myself.
It doesn't matter. The world is ending, and you don't care.
Felix, what do you suggest we do about it? Since you seem to have an idea of what we should be doing instead, why don't you share with the class?
Not diverting from our mission. Not wasting a week traveling across a dangerous place, risking death over something that may or may not work.
Our mission to, again, break the mantle and bring back a very angry god.
No, not that mission, you twit. The mission to stop the Harbingers, who are risen, from ending the world. I don't give a shit what happens with Ball and his god. The gods will play as they wish. What happens to this entire realm of existence may well be in our hands. And you want to go...
What if we're the Harbingers? What if we're the ones threatening the mantle? Again, that omen came right before we chose to do this. I was told to watch the skies by my angel, my guide. And all of a sudden, this falls when we're about to threaten the Mantle.
Then
hello.
So what? I don't care. Then skip Ball's thing. I don't care. We also should skip yours. No offense. I'm sure your mother is suffering, and that's terrible. But you know what? There's a lot of people going to suffer. And even if you find her, what? You're going to have a week before the world's gone. Oh well. We didn't do anything to stop it.
Again, what? We don't have any idea of what we should be doing to stop it.
Then why don't we go back to our plane, go back to Nymanet as we planned, and see if we can figure it out?
Then go. I'll find a way to do this. Then go. I didn't ask any of you to come with me. If this is what we have to do, then do it. But I can't leave. And I'm sorry that I have a bleeding heart and that I've decided to give a shit about something other than myself for once.
No,
Maybe
you're only
good.
caring about yourself and your feelings. I'm sorry that I happen to have both my parents and can look past my drama, but you need to learn. I can't leave. You're all I have. You are the horse I decided to ride to the apocalypse. And you know what? I have to just follow you and hope that your stupid decisions don't ruin everything.
Maybe you should take a good look at your own stupid decisions then if you're regretting this so much.
Maybe I should.
How much time do we have? How long will it take to get to your mother?
At least a week, if Vlad's calculations were correct. But we can try again to find a map and know for certain. And then from there, we can teleport back to our plane. Instantly, Ellery has a way.
I can get us to Ember Shore, or I can get us to, well, not to Nymanet, but to Andera.
So are we camping here, or should we start walking?
Do we know anyone that... Paul pauses and then says, there must be someone that knows the way to teleport us to a portal to, not to here, to somewhere else on this plane, closer to Snow. We don't need to travel for a week or more.
We met those Genasi in Port Kachu, but I don't know how trustworthy they are.
The only lead we have right now are those merchants that we passed by not that long ago. We can't have traveled too far, and let's be honest, this place is pretty flat. We should be able to see them. And if not, then, one of us can hop onto my staff, fly up into the air, and look for them. But I think that's our most realistic step right now.
We need information, one way or another. And they seem to be our best bet for figuring out how to do this. Or at least how to get where we need to go.
I don't have a way to message them. I'm out of everything.
Well, who's got the best eyes?
I am pretty good at spotting things.
Get onto Ball's shoulders and take a look around. Vesper has deliberately turned her back on Felix and is not looking at him this whole conversation.
Felix gone into the orb.
Ellery, if you want to look around for those merchants, I can give you this, and I'll hand over the flying staff. We'll try to keep up, I guess. You'll be pretty quick though, so.
Alright.
Yeah. Try not to go too far though.
Oh, wait, hang on. I'm gonna pull a page out of my journal and just write a couple words using the common alphabet to kind of spell them out in Ignan, so that she can kind of communicate basically with these merchants, like, hey, kind of get greetings, and then like explain that we need a map.
Didn't they switch to speaking in
Oh, they
common?
did. Right. No, you're right. Okay, never mind.
So, Ellery, you're getting on the staff and flying up into the air to try to spot these merchants?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give me a perception check at advantage, since you're flying high above any of the bones. It's pretty flat and there's not much anything else, but get above any rare obstruction.
All right. 23.
23? You fly up into the air, scanning the horizon. You can see to your back is the boneyard and the long serpent corpse, and ahead of you, you see the sea in the distance, burning. Scanning along in the direction where you thought they were heading when you split ways. Takes you a couple minutes, but eventually you spot a little bit of dust cloud flowing up. It's hard to tell from this distance, but you see a little bit of dust moving slowly across the horizon.
Okay, I will wave to the others and start heading in that direction. I think they're over this way.
Okay, so you guys follow Ellery in that direction. What pace are you going? Ellery, you would guess with that roll maybe an hour away if they stayed in one spot.
Are they moving away from us?
Yes.
Okay. So I am going to... How fast does the staff go?
50 feet.
Fast as hell.
Alright, so I think I'm going to take a straight line towards them, going the speed, the base speed of the staff, but not, I guess, dashing. Just,
so like flying ahead of the group, but not like...
Yeah, flying ahead
ahead.
of the group, but not trying to rush too far.
The others, are y'all going at... Go ahead, Bottle.
I think before she gets too far ahead, I think Bob will just remind the party that we have seen a lot of combat today. We should be diplomatic.
Yeah, they're merchants, Paul. We're buying goods and or services with coin. Hello.
I think things are a little different on this plane than back home.
Okay. So Ellery's flying a little bit ahead. The rest of you, are you guys doing a standard pace? Okay. So about 30 minutes go by, and it looks like you're a little closer. You probably have spotted the dust since Ellery pointed it out, but they're moving away from you. So you may be slowly catching up, but they're moving away.
Ellery, I can probably take it faster if you want me to just catch them.
Sorry, I'm having trouble processing.
I can use my movement, my action, and my bonus action all to dash, so I could catch them if we wanted me to catch them.
I mean, I could probably catch them too if I sped up, but we want to take this faster? I'm gonna start dashing.
Okay. So about 30 minutes go by. The rest of the party, they look maybe a little closer. They're moving probably at the same pace as you, maybe slightly slower, but Ellery, in that half an hour, you're able to zoom and they can start to come into view. As you're getting closer, you can see they have noticed you and are beginning to stop and move. You can see them pulling out bows and crossbows.
Are the rest of the group also hurrying to catch up? Okay.
At least I am, and I can basically keep pace with you.
About how far away from them am I when I see them start to take out bows and crossbows?
Maybe like 200 feet.
Okay. I will slow down and come down lower to the ground, and wave at them with one hand while I hold on with the other. And then I didn't know, like, as I was going, did I notice anything else moving in the area?
You can make a perception check.
I will do that. 15.
Nothing in particular.
So, I am going to call out to them, and I will cast thaumaturgy to make my voice louder. And just say, "Hello, friends. It's us again."
They kind of look back at each other before one of them, riding on that strange, like, rhinoceros mixed with a horse creature, just a few paces up front, yelling because he doesn't have thaumaturgy. Of course, did not recognize you. Are you in need of assistance, perhaps, or returning for one of the items? As he's beginning to ride towards you.
Well, perhaps our road has taken us in another direction, and we were hoping we could maybe get some advice or a map.
Well, I would certainly be glad to help. Where is it that you are looking for?
We're hoping to head towards Smo.
You are heading in the right direction. Few more days along this coastline here. He kind of points off towards the sea is. Probably 4.5 days or so from here. It's a pretty easy shot. You follow this coastline and around the curve and it will be there. You will see it from quite a ways off.
Are you heading there as well?
We are making a slight pit stop first. We'll be taking a ship to get us there a bit faster with our goods.
A ship, you say? I don't suppose this ship would be able to take on a few more passengers if they're heading to Smo.
Well, I could speak to the captain and perhaps see if they would be willing. We weren't planning to leave for a few days, but I'm sure you would desire compensation, you understand, but could be arranged.
Well, we might consider that as one of our options, in any case.
Well, if you are interested, you can certainly follow us back to the docks. And if not, I wish you for the best.
Well, thank you. The rest of my companions are catching up, and I kind of
can see that.
Behind me.
Yes. We were worried it might be someone else, but glad it is you.
Do you have much trouble out here?
Always, yes. But we sort of seek it out, so.
Anything in particular we should be watching out for?
Well, I would keep an eye on that. And he points up towards the sun. A few more hours and you will need cover.
That's good to know.
It gets uncomfortable, even to us native to this land. We will be waiting out before our ship comes. Not far from here. I am a businessman, and I'm always looking to do business. In addition to perhaps setting you up with a ship passage to Small, I might be able to aid in other ways. You are clearly not from these lands, and you might benefit from some advice. Someone native to these lands and knows Small very well. The people, the customs, not very important in the city.
And what sort of deal would you want to make for that kind of advice?
Compensation. It is the easiest deal to make.
What I meant was, what sort of compensation and how much would you require?
Not too bad. depending on the questions you ask, maybe a few hundred of your gold pieces.
Well, let me consult with my companions when they catch up, and perhaps we'll take you up on that.
We'll water the beast and allow you to discuss. He kind of nods, a deep bow, presenting his left arm, where you see a bracer of metal on it, of brass, before turning and rejoining his group, where they begin to bring out water cups to feed the beast. And we'll say a few minutes later, Vesper and the rest of the scales catch up. As you are catching up and sort of reuniting, I wanted to shift over to Felix, who is in the sphere. Are you doing anything in particular? Or give us a scene of what Felix is up to.
I mean, I think for a while he throws a tantrum for a few minutes, just really unable to comprehend why they can't see it. And then I think he's just gonna sit down and start meditating, trying to get his rest in and focus his mind, because he is done with these children.
Okay. While Felix tantrums and then drops into meditation, you guys all catch up and are now back together, maybe 50 feet or so to the merchants.
Well, the good news is that we are closer than we thought. The bad news is that we're gonna need to find some way to take shelter from the sun when it comes out.
I'll just pat our pouch.
And I will pass along the information that they gave us about the ship and the possibility of getting advice from them about customs and so on.
That might be really helpful, especially if my mother was concerned about people taking me. I don't know if we'd all be in danger or if it's just because I look like this. I don't know anything about air genasi or fire genasi, really. But if she's in chains, maybe it's a race thing.
Yeah, we should definitely try to find out more about what's the deal in this place. Do we want to try walking the coast or catching this ship?
He said the ship was leaving in a few days?
Yes, I'm not sure if it's actually going to be faster for us.
It might be the same. At the very least, maybe we can walk with him to the docks and then get the information we need and then keep going along the coast.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Thank you all for doing this, by the way. Felix is kind of right, but I have an obligation.
You do. And you're right in that way. And whether Felix likes it or not, there's no way that we can separate, not that we want to. We all want to help you. Maybe not Felix, but we all want to. And if that's where we're going, then we need to stick together. Because you're going to be more successful if we're all with you. And frankly, if we split up, it'll put the fate of the world in danger. So it's in all of our best interests to stay together no matter what.
And this is important. I mean, if we're going to save the world, what are we saving it for? Regardless of what Felix says, this matters. And you know, at least one of us should get our mom back, right?
Oh, we'll get yours, just it'll take us a little longer.
So, and I think Ellery's kind of wiping at her eyes a little bit. Let's go talk to this merchant.
Maybe Vol will pause and just kind of, you see Vol look at himself and see that is Vol basically just like a giant beacon of light with his like glowing chest?
It doesn't like emit bright light in a 200-foot radius, but it does glow.
I think Ball will say, I'll see if I can find something in the sphere to be a little less out of the ordinary. As he's like, Ball kind of looks at himself up and down. And maybe Felix needs some company too. He may be angry. He's still one of us.
Okay.
And Ball will take that moment to concentrate on the sphere and try to interrupt Felix's meditation.
Okay, so Ball, you focus for a minute, coming into the sphere, seeing Felix meditating there.
Ball licks his finger and puts it in Felix's ear. I think Ball licks it extra. I don't know. Ball will. You see, Ball doesn't immediately go to Felix. Instead, he enters the sphere and he just starts to have a look around and sees if he can. I don't know if he, for any reason, would have any clothes in the sphere, but Ball's looking around in the sphere to see if there's something that he can use to kind of cover himself up, or B, that he finds a table for him to stop and take off his belongings and kind of rummage through it and see if he has anything that would get the job done. Not necessarily being the most quiet, almost like, like you want to let someone know you're there, but without necessarily jumping in their face.
I think at a certain point during your shifting, Felix will just, without opening his eyes, just be like, yes, Ball.
Do you know where I can find some kind of a shirt?
I'll stitch you something together. I'll get up and start, finding whatever demon tabard was decorating the place and start pulling pieces together.
Is this where Ball ends up having one of those shirts that just has flames at the bottom? Because it's some demon tabard?
Yeah, we'll cut out the actual demon symbol, but I'm sure there's some fire and things like that around.
It's like a Guy Fieri shirt, but
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Vintage.
Felix is making it work.
Maybe while Felix is kind of working on that, since Ball can't really help, Ball's just kind of peering over and watching Felix do his thing. And then he'll say something like, so, I don't know what to think about the whole situation.
I know, Ball.
And end of discussion.
Look. Go ahead.
No, sorry, you go ahead.
I know it's complicated, and we all have different ideas of what's going to happen. What worries you most, Ball?
Well, we always talk about what's beyond the gates, and those that are trying to break the gates, break the mantle. And what about those in between? Is Tyrus is not a god beyond the gates. He's not a god below the gates. He's just God much closer to his people. Says a lot about. And Ball doesn't really finish the sentence.
Well, a god's power comes from its believers. It's closer to his people because that's all he has left. Are those the only ones that remember him? Now, I want you to be clear, the mantle and the gate are two different things, and the conflicts which we are dealing with involve both. Tyrus rising may upset the mantle, which is the pantheon of gods, their orders, and Tyrus does not necessarily fit in the current arrangement, particularly with his anger at Valisol and why can't I think of Zihara?
Akashan.
And also Akashan as well. Zahara is dead, so there's no revenge to be had on her, right? Did I get that right? Okay. Leaving only Valisol and Akashan. Simultaneously, the will apparently also have it out for Valisol himself. But I don't think we can convolute those two happenings. First of all, there is no telling what other steps are going into raising this giant god, and as far as we can tell, the will is acting rather soon. The problem with the will's journey is that it's not just wars between gods. Gods fight all the time. I really don't think much of what we do matters to them. They're going to war, and if Tyrus enters the ring, I don't think it will change all that much. But if we get in the ring, people like us, shattering through the divide, breaking that system, that shatters something entirely different and worse. I honestly don't know if bringing back Tyrus would be good or bad for the peoples. I highly doubt it will be beneficial for the small folk like us. It may help the giants take back some of their former glory. Beyond that, I don't know. Does that help you understand things a little bit better, Ball?
For every question you've answered, I have a new question. I think I'll need to think on those.
Well, we apparently have a few days as we go to something that has nothing to do with gods or the breaking of the gate or anything of the lives of people outside of us.
Remember how badly you wanted us to leave Embershore?
Yes.
If you can't control... Let me think of some cheesy way to say this in 1 second. You may not be able to stop the flame, but perhaps you can change how quickly it burns.
Thank you, Paul. It's fine. I give up on trying to change your course of action and make you understand. I'll just fix what you break.
I'm quite large, I do break many things.
Oh, I know, Paul.
At that, we pop back outside of the sphere, where Amsen, Vesper, and Ellery are reapproaching the merchants, with that one who's been kind of taking the lead, walking out, not riding his beast, just kind of walking out. Well, have you come to a decision?
I believe that we'll at least accompany you to these docks that you spoke of, and I think we will be taking you up on your offer for some advice.
Well, wonderful. I'm glad to hear this. We will guide you then to the sublime house of Raj. He kind of opens his arms wide. There's a little bit of like dark gray skin showing in the places where the armor or clothes don't fully show, but he's still wearing that chitin goggle mask, so you're not sure what he exactly looks like. Yeah, not far now, a few more hours, and we will be there. Wonderful. Follow me. Exactly the Malungkong mask, and he mounts back up, and so does his crew. You guys follow. As you guys walk for the next couple hours along the coastline. It's mostly empty at first. A boulder every now and then, but you can see the sea to your left. This burning sea, like a sea of oil that's been lit on fire.
As we travel, I'll be keeping an eye out for anything else moving around us.
Okay. 2 people can roll perception checks if you'd like. As you guys travel along, after an hour or so, you begin to see these strange forest is the closest word you can come to. These strange spires of this brittle-looking stone that kind of curves and spirals up. There are cracks along the spiral edge that seem to open and close, breathing like lungs, something burning inside. They go up before branching a few times, similar to like a cactus, and they form this sort of forest of these spires to your right. So you're kind of in between the tree line, so to speak. And if you're rolling perception checks, let me know.
I rolled a big old 9.
9.
I'll do the other one. I rolled a big old, awesome, not amazing, 11.
You don't notice much of anything. The forest of these spires to your right are beginning to obscure the vision as you move into them, and travel for 2, 3, 4 hours. Anything you guys are doing over this journey, or just kind of trying to get there?
Probably asking questions. I mean, what's the rate for answers?
Well, I do not want to give you a rate per se, per answer, but why don't we start with 100 gold, and then when you've asked enough questions, I will ask for more.
Okay. I will pass over 10 platinum. Because that's how math works. I guess the first thing is, someone like me, am I going to be welcome there in the city?
Or any of these.
This one here is a bit strange, but you should be able to fit in mostly fine in most places. The others of you are going to stick out. Your big friend and the other, if he's going to catch up, will probably be fine. But you and you, pointing to the half-elves, are going to stick out. I recommend we could choose some sort of bandana or something to conceal you at least a little bit. And the other merchants are kind of joking and ignorant behind him, which why don't we take that as a cue to you guys are traveling, and after a couple of hours, he answers a few questions, but mostly he's just trying to get there. He begins turning towards the coast. You don't see much of anything, but you curve down towards the coastline, turning to the right where you can see the mouth of a cave. He turns and says, "Welcome to the sublime mouth of Raj. Please, we will enter and discuss further here." And that's where we're going to take a break, and maybe things will settle down a bit. These walls are like tissue paper.
I still love you guys, even though I yelled at you.
I love you too.
Not as bad as I expected.
Next time on Back to the Story.
I can tell you're uncomfortable. You can trust me that I have made many of my contacts by being discreet with what I know. You've come a long way to meet a stranger.
She's family.
And I will summon Aeon like a Cerebro helmet, and I'm going to look for anything I know about Walker.
For part 2 of this episode of Back to the Story, you can find it on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. We also have a YouTube channel called Back to the Story, an actual play podcast. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.